6:42. Call the meeting to order. We have a quorum, 5 of 7. Absent tonight is Joshua Blackman, and obviously we lost Melvin earlier this week, passed away. So our thoughts are with his wife on that. Additions, adjustments to the agenda. There's just a couple of things that I would like to make mention of. One is last month after our meeting over April break, Brian and I took a tour of all of the facilities, including the bus garage, and I just wanted to throw it out there that when the committees are remade here, following the vote in June, I would strongly encourage that the facilities subcommittee get together with Brian and collectively take a tour of all of the facilities again. It was very eye-opening, enlightening. You know, it was a good time, and it was good to, you know, get around and see everything without all the hubbub of the students being there at the time, you know. And then the other thing, which you and I touched on briefly out in the hall, Brian, is that potentially carrying this facilities transportation committee through the summer, pending the vote in June. There's going to be a lot happening if the bond passes, and I think that we should keep that in mind.
Can we just, may I ask, can we just as a committee, if I remember correctly, I feel like we did that last year, can we as a committee just say like, let's do it? Do we need to formally do anything for us to choose to do that, do you know?
As far as I know,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so consent agenda approved minutes of April 16th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
It was Betsy.
First time.
Oh,
Look at Karen. Just want y'all to know, I don't.
We're all stepping up.
Yeah, where's Randy to be here to give you your dollar?
Stepping up.
Coming back on top of your game, huh?
Yeah.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstention. 5-0. Audience with the public. Did anybody sign up to speak? Or does anybody want to speak?
Wow, a time when Sarah, Tanya, and Myrna doesn't have anything to say? Lord.
Myrna just said, why do you always look at me?
And moving on to action items.
Good afternoon still. They've all been identified, I think, but from the transportation department, we got Tanny McGray in the white. She's McKinney Vento and van driver. Sarah to her left. Behind Tanya is Matt Simmons, who is one of our bus drivers in Waldoboro. And to his right, our left, is Myrna Sol Robbins, who is a bus driver in Washington. So, and you all can jump in anytime now. Anything that I'm talking about that needs correction, please feel free to do so.
We assume everyone knows Julia.
Yes, and Julia.
I do not drive
The non-transportation presence.
Although I hear that she might be looking for employment in July 1st, so. You got your CHRC already locked in, I mean, so.
Matt might be looking for a bus aide, right? Or someone to flag to get him out on Route 1 from what I heard on the radio today.
So for the summer projects, on the biomass boiler, we've broken ground on that. Couple of delays set us back more than what the delays cost us because we fell out of the rotation for the cement people. And so they're gonna be in here at the beginning of June to do the footers, frost walls. Then we'll do our backfill, and then we'll start getting the vertical construction on the building, get the biomass and get plugging away on that. The water treatment system, we made a couple of modifications. Actually one modification to the water treatment system. We had talked about a 1,000-gallon holding tank, and what we were gonna do was demo the wall adjacent to it, put it back, put it in, and then rebuild it. But then when we got our revolving renovation fund, we realized we were gonna have asbestos remediation. We're trying to make this happen as quick as possible, so we went from 1,000-gallon tank as we were gonna add 4 more 200-gallon tanks to the existing 200-gallon tank. to get us to the 1,000 gallons, that we're looking to have. So, there was some modifications, all that has to go through main drinking water. All the modifications have been noted and diagrams and all of that, and that's been forwarded. Don't anticipate any problem. Matter of fact, Jeff might already have, that information, that approval back on that.
So that's to avoid having to take the wall down and put it back up, you're just gonna get
That's correct. We
smaller
can
units
move
that you
them
can
right in
replace.
through the
Okay,
doors.
cool.
You got it. Yeah. So, probably talked about this a little bit before, but I'm gonna continue to just the very tentative timeline. And obviously, as we go through the summer, it'll change a little bit. Around the beginning of June, we're gonna start disassembling the two current boilers at Medina Valley High School, getting them disassembled. Once students have left, knock on wood, on the 17th of June, then at that point, we can start moving them out, which would probably be that following week, the 21st, or whatever that Monday is. They'll start moving those out, as well as disassembling the domestic hot water boiler that's also in there. Get that out, start moving in the arsenic treatment, the additional tanks, and getting that all set up and piped in and getting it ready to roll. Simultaneous to that, we'll be having some movers that'll come in that will do all the moving of furniture. And again, this is based on, I'm assuming that we're gonna pass, the school revolving renovation fund will pass, we'll be doing asbestos remediation. They'll come in and we'll move all the furniture, everything to open up for asbestos remediation. And then probably around the beginning of July is when they will probably actually start asbestos remediation. We're gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight on the back end. They're thinking 5 to 6 weeks to do it all, so we are definitely gonna be tight getting all that back in. Plus, making sure that we've got the piping, the new biomass boiler, getting that piped into the school and all that. But every time I talk to EEI about it, Mike Davey says, no problem, Ryan, we do this all the time. So until I see something that makes me think otherwise, then I still hold complete confidence that we'll be able to pull this off this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, if the bond passes, then we're gonna be kind of tracking down 2 lanes. One is the current operations of the summer, and the next one will be the future operations, planning the 2 follow-on summers, and phasing those in that are gonna, so we don't have to redo one after the other. More information to follow after June 9th, hopefully, and we can start working through those questions. Any questions on the summer project? Yes.
Well, can I just ask a clarifying question, because I've actually been talking with some folks who have kids at the high school, and so they were sort of asking me like, how is this all gonna go down? And so I was sort of explaining the summer slammers to them. And so one question that came up that I just was, and maybe this was covered already in like a tour that I wasn't a part of, because I'm new here. Is the asbestos remediation, is that just the flooring that they're doing this summer, or is that also, there's additional asbestos? correct?
So
Like
there-
down around the HVAC maybe, is that right?
It's all subgrade.
Okay, yeah,
It's all buried literally in the cement.
Sure.
So the intention is to only address anything that we find when we're digging up to replace the sewer lines.
okay,
And again, this is all dependent on
Yes, yes.
getting the revolving renovation fund. There is some in the ceiling of the library and in the guidance, there is some question about whether some of those ceiling tiles aren't asbestos. So they're
okay.
gonna do some additional testing on that, and if
Okay.
necessary, those will remediate a lot easier than the floor tiles, for sure.
So the asbestos remediation this summer will hypothetically do all of the asbestos in one go, and then the other parts of the renovation down the line are just the renovation of the building?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So I wanna add a caveat to that.
Yes, thank you.
So, if the bond passes,
Sure,
at that point, what we will probably do is leave some asbestos in the areas where we're gonna have to be tearing out built-ins, the science labs.
sure.
There's some stuff that's built right over the asbestos tiles. We'll remove out around those, and then at the time when we're remodeling, we'll come in and we'll do, pieces, parts of the building, for asbestos remediation. But I would expect that certainly we'll have 99% of it remediated this summer, and any remaining would be done the following summer.
And the majority of that is the floor?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Will anything ever be done during the breaks, or are they just too short and it's not worth trying to do something over Christmas? The big break in February, April, I mean, is that just not even?
So the answer is we absolutely work through all those breaks. We have projects going on. They're not necessarily going to be projects specifically funded by the bond. They would be supplemental projects, kind of the things that I work on throughout the year, that sort of thing. I mean, if there are some small pieces, parts to that we can execute in a week, we will do that, but usually our breaks are right around a holiday as well, so, and a 1 week gets shrunk all that much more, so it becomes a bit of a challenge.
Sure.
I usually use those weeks to get all of our inspections, certifications that we have to go through, fire suppression systems, water, you name it, we got it going on.
Thank you.
Okay.
I've got a question.
Yes.
So also thinking about this bond and just sort of how long it takes to get people on board, do we have like contractors lined up that are just waiting for us to say like, okay, we got the bond passed, let's go for it, or because we were doing this remediation stuff first this summer and then we've got time until some of these other things happen, like, just a general question, I mean, how does that sort of work when we're waiting on a vote?
So the contract is to do the asbestos remediation of the water treatment. Those are both already locked in. The asbestos remediation company is out of Falmouth, and the water treatment is Jeff Twitchell. He lives in either Union or Washington. I can't, it's right on the line there. I'm not sure which side that he lives on. Jeff owns Air and Water Quality. So they'll be handling, and they handle all of our water treatment systems in the district. So I'm beginning to find out that water is a lot of effort, and when you're in a school, a lot of testing, a lot of stuff going on, which I'll talk a little bit about here, about Medina Middle School here at the end of these items.
And the stuff related to the bond is through EEI, which is our energy efficiency, well, I forget what they're, I always get it wrong.
Energy Savings Company,
Energy
ESCO.
savings company.
So they're the general contractor, so
Okay,
they'll
so
put
then-
out bids for all the subcontractors.
Okay, alright, cool, yeah, cause I just didn't, depending on obviously what happens, I know people are on hold, so that makes sense.
Yeah, they follow the same rules we do as far as bids, posting, contracts, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So, I can't think of the Senate rule, Stanton-Bacon Act, which is a payment, salary,
Just nothing to do with
fair,
bacon.
fair salaries. Yeah, it doesn't actually do with real bacon, but,
We're open.
so they have to they handle all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
We've hired a new custodian. So he started this week at Medina Valley High School. Knock on wood, that gives us a full complement of custodians. The last time we had a full complement, it did not go well. So let's hope this time it goes better for sure. We also got a new van driver. Lynn Lemley, she started yesterday. She had worked for us previously as a contract driver, going to a special purpose private school. And so Sarah was very happy when she arrived, because Sarah's been doing, in addition to all of her other jobs, has been driving 4 routes a day. So this will hopefully take a little pressure off Sarah, and she can get some things, get back and take care of some other stuff. We have purchased, or we've ordered the new bus. For those of you that have been around here for a while, ordering a bus and getting a bus is not typically even in the same 3 or 4 months. We're expecting that back maybe in September, sometime in September, maybe the beginning, likely the latter part. So we went with the traditional C-Class bus, the flat nose buses. Most of the manufacturers have gone to a rear engine setup on them, And so it's a new, the Bluebird, who we use, is my understanding is this is kind of their first year getting into that. And so we want to let them suss that out a little bit before we start going that way.
Plus Myrna doesn't like a flat nose, right?
And Myrna does not like flat nose, that's
So we're
exactly
good.
right, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of buses, I got the notification about bus ride for Union. Is that all up and running everywhere now? Cause I noticed like my bus will say offline every time I go to check it, but I didn't know if it was not entirely working yet.
Are you checking it when the bus should be running?
Yes,
Okay, so we can fix that,
okay.
absolutely. Sarah, you got?
Steve and I talked about that today. It should be up and running for you tomorrow.
Okay,
Yes.
Cool.
Rachel, you're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer. My apologies.
I know, that's
Half
okay.
of Washington is all set and has been all set for a little bit,
Yep.
but, yes, it will, I promise.
It's
so,
okay, we're patient up here, we're patient up in Washington, we're used to it.
so as like starting the school year next year with all the changes, should parents expect that they'll just be able to check immediately at the beginning of the school year?
Correct.
Okay,
I say correct. Whatever adjustments are made to the routes over the summer, I will hopefully have time to make all of those adjustments. We asked the drivers within the first few weeks of the school year to kind of nail down the students that are actually riding their bus. So the information that I have as of the first day of school might not be as accurate as 3 weeks into the school year when they've kind of sussed out who's riding and who's not riding.
okay.
But for the folks that have been riding and are still riding, I'm just gonna transfer them. If you have a kiddo that's going up to the middle school, I'll just transfer it to the middle school, high school group.
Kind of my source of information for bus ride is Maggie Massengale, who is the transportation director in Camden. She said the initial setup is a death march. After that, the following years, it becomes exponentially easier. She did all of Camden's, I don't know how many bus runs that they have, but she did all of theirs in a day, made all the corrections in a day, so. No pressure, Sarah, but Maggie does it in
A day, I heard you, I got it, boss.
And new van, so as you have probably heard, we are gonna have 10 3-year-olds coming into the district.
4-year-olds.
4-year-olds, sorry, yes, 4-yearolds.
3-year-olds come next year.
3-year-olds are next
Next
year, sorry, I'm already having nightmares about next year already. So, we're obviously, as you know, we've added 2 van drivers that will be going to the voters, and if approved, that will certainly help. But 10 4-year-olds all in a van is the equivalent of 2.5 vans. So we're going ahead 2 van drivers, but we're actually, in the big scheme, falling behind by a half a van driver. But with that being said, with the 4-year-olds coming, there were some grant money available, and Penelope Chris and Ashley Bissonette went out and got us $45,000 to go towards a new van. So that takes care of a vast majority of a new van. Maybe it's another $7,000 or $8,000 by the time that you add the cameras and audio and video and that sort of stuff. So,
That's awesome.
very happy about that,
Yeah.
very happy about that indeed.
Wait, do the 4-year-olds and then the 3-year-olds, because of they're this big, do they have to be on a van as opposed to when they come in, they can ride a bus?
No. So to be clear, these
How's on the
4-year,
bus, I
these
guess?
4-year-olds are special education 4-year-olds.
Oh, okay, got
That
it.
would have been part of CDS, Child Development Services,
Okay.
prior to Child Development Services deciding that they should be part of public school.
Yep.
So many of them would have private, not private transportation, but not bus transportation.
Yep.
If they were older
Okay.
students. So, but I guess to further answer that, I don't know how Myrna and Matt feel, but 4-year-olds are really tiny to be on a full-size school bus anyway.
Yeah.
But, some of the pre-K kids start when they're 4, because they can be 4 until what, the 15th or the 1st of October. So they are 4 when they start, but they walk up the bus with their hands, I mean, they're little.
Yeah.
So, but some of these children could be 3 when they start, because they don't have to be 4 until October.
I don't think that you'll find many bus drivers that relish the idea of transporting 4-year-olds, and certainly aren't gonna relish the idea of transporting 3-year-olds. It's just, you know, following directions and stuff like that. Bert, am I hitting the nail pretty much on the head on that one?
You can't keep them in the seat too, because you gotta remember, these kids are little, they can't even get their feet to the floor, so
No.
they're just floating in midair.
Yeah.
Primarily, think about it, I mean, none of those legs are big enough to, long enough to go to the floor.
I am thinking about it.
But do a lot of parents, depending on how close they are to the school, bring their kids to school? The 4-year-olds?
This is new for us.
Yeah.
This is our first year.
This year.
But with that being said, I don't know, what do you think, Julia, that, at least at Miller, and Miller only, how many do you think, percentage-wise of kids that go?
Of the youngest kids or,
Well, I was just thinking in general.
since, 2020, we've had more kids picked up, that dropped off, but we still have a lot of kids who go on the bus. I would say there are more students who go on the bus than we picked up.
I think also if they have IEP transportation, we have, I could probably count on 2 hands the students that parent transport.
Oh, yeah,
If they
they're
have
not-
IEP transportation. So I would anticipate that we will be transporting probably all 10 of them.
What about Washington, Myrna? At least, you think more than half the kids ride the school bus?
Probably about half.
Yeah, there's a pretty good parent population that picks up at Washington.
Yeah.
There is, but
And Warren as well.
we end up with all the little ones.
Also,
And ones that-
I mean,
That's
just to
what
give
we
you an
have.
idea of how little, we were watching a video for something unrelated, and a girl was so little, she went under the bus, under a seat on her belly, and came out the other side,
They do.
because she wanted to see the child in front of her, so she really crawled, because she was that little, and she's not 4.
At this point in the year, I still have kids who have difficulty getting on and off the bus because it's a big step, so I have to
Yeah.
stand there and hold their hand.
With their backpack, yeah, we had just,
Oh,
they're
gosh,
so
wait,
little.
like I stand at the bottom so I can catch them.
Huge backpack.
One of the couple of things here that's tough with these little ones too, is like if you've gotta do an evacuation, I've had a year or two that it wasn't safe to do a rear door evacuation, they're risking the kids more because they had so many little kids and nobody wanted to get them out. So, and that's the same with the evac windows that are up front, most of them little kids aren't big enough to even do them. And they're usually within like the 3rd or 4th window.
Just a random question, can you put seatbelts on the bus? Like where we're getting 3 and 4-year-olds, the first few rows or something?
So you can retrofit the big buses or order them with a certain number of seats with harnesses in them.
Is it very costly?
But it's incredibly costly, yes.
The other thing is, that's always been an argument on
Yeah.
safety, because if something happens, as you all probably see that one, I believe it was up Scout, even in my hours of it, when that driver had the heart attack and went over. If all the kids were seatbelted, it wasn't gonna help those kids. 2 of the kids went up and took the wheel, if it hadn't
I was
been.
thinking like little kids, the seatbelt harnesses,
Well, who's gonna?
Well, who's gonna take care
of it?
And
all the
That's-
kids that are gonna go on the
That is
buses.
a very big controversy every time that they bring up about seatbelts, which is safest,
Yeah.
actually.
What else? Anything you need to know about bus driving? You've got 2 of them right here, van driving. We continue to drive a lot of miles.
Yep.
A lot of miles.
That's great about this grant, that's awesome.
So,
How far is that furthest McKinney that you're driving right now? It's 40 miles?
Westport Island,
Where's that?
off Wiscasset.
South of Wiscasset and then down Peninsula.
Wow.
You go down into Wiscasset, just before you get to Big Al's. If you know where Big Al's is, just before there, you take a left. Then run that out about another 4 or 5 miles. Is where
That's
we
a
are now.
school, or that's a
No,
student
it's-
that lives
it's-
there?
It's a student, it's a McKinney-Vento student.
Oh,
So our northern students are Lincolnville, and our southern is Westport Island.
Are they tuitioned in, are those the,
No,
okay.
How does that work? Is it like when they start the school year, if they're within the district or something, or like started within the district? I'm not even
Yeah,
sure
if they're-
what we can talk about, but.
Tanya, do you know the
Yeah.
specifics on that? On how
Danielle
that-
does.
So, if they qualify to be a McKinney-Vento student,
Yeah.
once you qualify for the year.
Okay,
So
got it.
even if they do get permanent housing,
Outside of the
they're
district.
still McKinney-Vento for the year.
Okay,
Hopefully, the idea is that once they get permanent housing in district, preferably, then they can get on a bus or whatnot, but that, they still have that for backup in case something happens.
Where was the request that we got from DHHS, Sarah? Way up north, up by Castine?
Oh, I don't remember.
There was one, Hamden.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah,
Hamden.
Danielle, you,
Yeah, it was Hamden, it was up past Hamden High School.
Yes.
yeah, but there was one that went all the way up towards, that was all the way up towards Castine, I thought, that we, same student had come in a couple years ago that lived right across the street.
Yeah, that was before
That's
Danielle was
him.
here.
Oh, I gotcha, I
And they,
gotcha.
because DHHS trumps everybody, they said we had to transport and the foster parents didn't even want us to. And how many days did we do it
Yeah,
before?
was that Swanville?
I don't know, it was like an hour each way.
Oh, yeah,
We were
oh,
moving a
like
kid.
an hour
Little
plus,
kid,
yeah.
like 7 years old, and he literally lived right across from Union Elementary. And we finally just said, we have no way to transport, and they're like, oh. And it's brutal.
Wow.
These kids,
And the problem is those, when they're out that far, generally speaking, it's one-on-one. It's one student in one vehicle.
Yeah.
And that
not
has a
cost
big
effective.
impact, that has a big impact on things when that happens.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and I'm sure it's a hard way for them to start their day with an hour drive to school.
Yeah.
Penny, any questions on that? There is one other topic, the water status at Madomic Middle School that I wanted to address. Earlier this week, I was contacted, it was Friday, right? Friday, I was up in Lincolnville, so whatever day it was, I was transporting, Liberty.
It was Monday.
It was
Yeah,
this
it was
week.
Monday.
Yeah, it was this week. Just
We
feels
were
like a long
notified
week.
by Maine Drinking Water that our water quality testing from Madomic Middle School had come back with an incredibly high amount of lead in it. Which struck me as very strange because every test we've had over the last, since it has been open, it's been 0 parts per million, and all of a sudden it went up to 360 parts per million. I called our water quality and compliance who takes our testing, who does our testing for us. They didn't understand. I called Jeff Twitchell, who does our water treatment at Madomic Middle School, and I said, what would we have to add for this lead? He goes, just exactly what you got. He said there was no way that number could be correct. So we're on a no drink order right now at Madomic Middle School, but we have done an additional draw to do an additional testing, thinking that something went wrong with the test. For somehow either the bottle was contaminated or they didn't run the water long enough and it had been sitting in a fixture for long enough that it was absorbing. So anyways, we got bottled water for the middle school. Surprisingly enough, even though the middle school is, it's a little more than half the size of the high school now, but they are going through about double the water. So, I have no idea why, but
It's
they.
fun to go.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, well, that's probably true, yes.
Do you have any idea how long that's gonna take to get those results back?
Either tomorrow or Tuesday.
Okay.
Monday would be our water quality guy, Brandon, Delano is his name. He said maybe Friday. He said they're gonna really push to get stuff done, Monday being a holiday.
And is
So-
there some bureaucracy involved as far as allowing the students then to drink the water again if it comes back clear?
There is some bureaucracy, but it's very quick.
It is.
If we get it back tomorrow, if we got it back, say the results were posted in the morning, we would have it with the no drinking removed by the afternoon.
Okay,
So it's hours, not days,
awesome, okay.
to execute that. And pending any questions, that's kind of my update for the subcommittee. I would just like to say that I think that the summer meetings, I am staunchly in favor of those.
Yep.
I think that that's a great idea. And frankly, even if the bond doesn't pass, keeping that going, I think is very useful. We still have a lot of stuff going on in the district, one way or the other, so.
I'm all for it.
So that means you would have one in the middle of June, but you haven't reallocated so it would be the same committee, and then in July, your new committees would be created.
So it'd be 2 more meetings, right? We would
Yeah, that's it,
basically
just July and August.
July and
Yeah.
August.
Okay, that sounds great.
Awesome.
But we wouldn't normally have one in June, right?
Yeah,
It would
Yeah,
be
the-
after school, right?
the board reorganizes in the 1st of July, so we're.
Right, but I thought I thought the committee meeting ended when school usually does.
Everything starts anew in July, so you'd still have the old committee for June.
Okay. I just didn't think there was a meeting in June after school. You know what I mean? Like we meet, this is the third Thursday.
Normally, for most committees, there's no meetings in July and August.
But we have them in June, right? Because I get the finance stuff signed off in June, so.
That's up to the committee.
Go ahead, Mary.
Two small questions. One thing I heard you say when 17th comes after that, you can do it. Have we got a waiver so that the high school does not have to go that extra day yet?
I don't know,
That's on the agenda.
That's the only reason I asked.
We don't have an answer yet.
We don't. And the other thing is there another reading of the policies in with the cell phones and all the other stuff? My only reason I'm asking is I noticed something the other day, Tim, I think you, when we had that meeting before, had said something about the kids wearing their earbuds. Let me tell you, I had an incident with that the other day. Had one called 17, when I got on, I told them to sit there at the seat, and I noticed they weren't listening. All of that, they still weren't listening. They came across that road, they had no hearing because they had those in their ears. So,
This was coming onto the bus.
yep. So, just to let you know, and not only that, but emergency, how are they gonna hear us? They don't hear us. Just want you to know that.
Yes. No, I
it's
appreciate
critically
it.
important. Matt, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Would you be willing to share, in very general terms, your incident recently?
Which one?
Which run crossing the road?
You're a little bit on Main Street.
The,
So then that's not possible.
oh, yeah.
There are so many that
I've
he.
had so many issues on Main Street lately. So I had a horrible experience the last week or the week before.
Last week.
So on my elementary route, I have a kindergartner that crosses the street and a 4th grader that also crosses the street. They're not siblings, but that's a bus stop. And the older sibling on my high school route waits for the kindergartner to cross the road. That's, she gets her off the bus, but she stays near the church. She didn't walk across the street, so anyway. So I had stopped, opened my door, my lights were on, stop sign was out, traffic had stopped. The 4th grader, I think she's 4th grader, I give my thumbs up, she went across the road. Then the kindergartner gets off the bus, I give her my thumbs up, and then a car that was stopped right in front of me starts driving through my lights. And I laid on, because that little girl, she had no idea what's going on. I was laying on the horn, and car starts going through my lights, I'm laying on the horn, and the car comes to a screeching halt, probably a foot from taking out that little girl. So that was, because I have cars run my lights every day, but they never stop and then start going again. That was the first for me. So I got with Sarah and Brian immediately, and we got it so that older sibling walks the little girl across the street, because that just can't ever happen ever again.
I'd like to show you how oblivious the little itty bitties can be at times.
Thank-
What, the little girl, what was she upset about?
Oh, me honking the horn.
Yeah,
Heard her
right.
ears.
Yeah, I'm sure it scared her.
When she got almost to the edge of the road, she turns around throws her hands up and screams my ears, because I had the window open. I'm like, get out of the road, and I hollered to the sister, get her out of the road, because that car was still there, it was a total disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that close from getting run over. So that car, I just guess, had enough of waiting people cross.
So when people are running your lights, you guys have cameras on the buses. Are you able to tag these people and that gets
So
pushed through
there's
to?
1, 2, 3, 4 buses now that have the stop arm cameras on them, the newer ones.
Yeah.
I have, one of the older buses in the fleet that's on the roof still. That's not equipped with a stop arm camera. But all the new ones are coming with that.
The stop arm cameras are what video outside the bus,
Yeah.
Mhm.
particularly vehicles both in your lane and the other lanes, that
And-
you can get video evidence in
And
there.
then we can send that off to,
And we do it quite often. We have a driver who drives on 90 quite a bit. And every couple of weeks, we'll send off a slew of them,
Wow.
of videos.
You did them all, it would, you'd never be driving the bus, because nobody pays any attention to it. Like, if they see yellow lights when I'm on 17 with my kids, it's like, I leave them yellow, because it's, you know, don't pick up the kid, I stay back away from the kid, because they'll manage, they will absolutely manage to try to get through to ride that bus before the fact. They don't care if the kids are still in. I mean, no matter which side of the road they're on, they don't care. Those lights are about zero, and that's why I said, with those things in that kid's ears, and somebody can't say nothing here.
no.
You're not gonna hear a thing. And half of them have got their cell phone in their face like this, and they're typing and talking, and
Yeah,
you can
that's
tell
it.
them till cows come home, but that's why I say, if we have no authority whatsoever to say, by the time you're on that bus, you're under school rules. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean we gotta put the phones away, but, I mean, yes, they should, but what I'm saying is if you do a write-up slip, if we're not part of the school day, the parents are gonna say they can use them on the bus. So you've got to at least have that step, and that's my opinion.
I mean, I used to listen to a CD on the bus, but, I mean, the headphones were different back then, you know, you could still hear outside of a headphone versus the earbuds now,
Right.
but.
And I don't think that you probably used your headphones nearly, I mean, the kids these days, I mean, their faces on their phone.
They don't need this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. They don't need it. When we were kids, we got through, you lived through it, you know what I mean? Sorry, give them a book.
Brian, have we ever put monitor people on the bus to help the bus drivers, like a monitor, or randomly have somebody on the bus, whether it's I don't know, a
Yeah.
volunteer parent?
So we have bus aides on the two little buses. And then Sarah rides along, particularly on today, she spent today on a union bus, both morning and afternoons, and that's typically in response to when we're having some pretty serious behavioral reports, that she will ride on a bus. But as far as bus aides or anything like that, or volunteers on the buses, I don't know, Myrna, if they've
We've
ever
got
done
two
it.
issues with that. Number one, anybody who's on that bus has got the fingerprinted and their background. If I'm correct, Karen, on that?
They'll have to be fingerprinted either as a volunteer or as an employee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't just take somebody off the street and say, they can go
I mean,
on.
our volunteers are background checks, sorry, not
Yeah.
fingerprinted, but they're background checked.
And
And they're employed.
if you, let me just say, if Brian, at one point, when van drivers, if they didn't have kids and stuff, if I'm not mistaken on this, Brian, you had some of the people that were driving vans, if they didn't have them, get on a bus with somebody and kind of monitor them, because we knew that they were. Al rode once on Matt's bus, and he said, I'll never do that, I'll get done first, and I'll never do it again.
Julia, you've ridden on buses in your
Yep,
town.
I have ridden on the buses, and Beth Hickey, our school counselor, has ridden
Does it help when you guys are on the bus, is the behavioral issues?
It does.
Yeah.
Because Julia's rode with me several times in the last, 4 years, with different issues, and it helps tremendously.
Apparently children don't have much to say when Mrs. Davis
I
is
think
on the
if it's
bus.
someone with authority, yes. But I
Yeah.
was watching
Yeah.
on my bus, I took a trip today. The authoritative ones, they listen to, the parents,
Yeah, they're not gonna
Zero.
listen to some random.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that as a parent being a zero, please don't take it that way, that's not what I
No,
mean.
no.
But they're not listening.
Yeah, but I'm saying somebody with authority riding on a bus even randomly. And, I mean, and see, so you can really emphasize the rules.
I had a student meet me when I came downstairs for the afternoon route today. One of the young ladies that was on the bus this morning said, "Are you riding my bus this afternoon?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I sure am." And she said, "Good, it was so quiet." It was probably the quietest ride that the driver had had all year. I got on the bus yesterday afternoon. I informed them that I would be riding the bus today because of the decisions and choices that they had been making recently on the bus. I reminded them of appropriate bus behavior yesterday. I got on the bus this morning. When we got here to the school, I thanked them for their appropriate behavior on the bus this morning. Went over again the things that they did correctly today that they had not been doing correctly. When they got on the bus this afternoon, let's review the rules of how we behave on a school bus. Went through it, your bottoms are in the seats, your feet are on the floor, you're facing forward, you are not standing, you are not jumping, you are not crawling under the seats, all of the things that they have been doing. And they were all like, and for the most part, they were okay.
Very hard if you're a driver, to see up into the back of the bus, because you gotta remember, all we see is the tops of some of the elementary kids way in the back end. Because these seat bottoms have been dropped, have been fronts up, or whatever you wanna call it. So for protection for the kids, but some of it ain't protection, because what's going on behind them seats?
Yeah.
I had one, I'm not gonna say anything about who it was, but I had a girl the other day when we were viewing camera, I didn't even know she was doing it, but she was standing on her head inside the bus. If I hit anybody or anything happened, what would have happened to her? That girl crashed. And that was not an elementary joke, I was gonna
Yeah.
Your child,
But
what are the protocols when the student constantly does, and then do they get, they're not allowed to ride the bus for a time period?
Well, there are some caveats to this. Generally speaking, we have what's called a bus slip. And it's a progressive bus slip that starts out with they're talked to by Julia or Jamie or one of the principals, and then it escalates up. But that fifth grade, fifth grade Julia, we're not supposed to remove from the bus.
We can't, no, they can be suspended from school,
Oh, okay.
except for 3 days if it's like serious injury could occur. And there's no other less restrictive way.
Yeah.
So that's about in school. So it's, very often, I mean, I think this week I had 3 kids off 3 days and 1 student off for good. But very often those kids can't get to school afterwards, and so that's a problem.
For van drivers,
No, I had a parent call me, the student was off the bus, you are off the bus for 3 days. Had done something really unsafe. Parent calls me up and says, okay, well, my child will need a van tomorrow. I said, no, that's not how that works.
It's definitely hard. We try to do it, but for the most part, it's.
Because then they won't come to school.
Every time, then they don't come to school. We have a lot of kids with food insecurities, attendance issues, and ongoing attendance issues. And the other thing is just finding the actions. Ernie Vanner always laughs when he goes on to look for one thing, he finds 4 other things that are worse than what he went on to find.
Are the bus drivers allowed to pull the bus over and get up and just like reprimand the children for if they catch them doing something? Cause I remember that happening a lot. You can do that?
Hey, Myrna?
Okay. Because I'm, no, just on a bus, I remember that happening constantly. It was like terrifying and, you know, people would behave. So I'm thinking, why is there so much bad behavior now? And are we not allowed to do certain things that we used to be able to do? Like what?
And we can't see kids for one thing, because of the safety things. If, I can't say what I want to say, but if there wasn't so many standards that we have to go by, and we try to go by policies here and laws there, and they don't mix, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They just don't.
I can say the kids on Myrna's bus know the rules. They know her expectations. I was standing outside of her bus one day and, well, I was, but before they got on, I was standing outside of her bus and children that had made a really poor choice that morning or the day before, came up and just saw the look on her face, and one boy looked at the other one and said, "We're cooked." She started walking.
Yes.
They know the expectation. It doesn't always help them make good choices, but they know the expectations.
I go by the old school rules, I ain't going by the rules, I'm going by old school. It worked for me when I was younger, because we didn't breathe about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, Gail Whittier put the fear of God into all of us.
Yeah.
She would, oh, yes, yes indeed.
And
I
Bob?
never even met her, I've only heard stories, it scares me.
She was a scrapper, for sure. You know, she commanded everybody's respect, it was just,
You didn't misbehave on her
No,
bus.
you
She was
didn't.
about 5 foot tall, and I watched her with one that was a principal, that's no longer a principal yet, I won't say anything on that, but she backed him right up in a corner and was right in his face and told him, if you hadn't done this, we wouldn't be dealing with it. So, yeah, she was very good.
yeah, she was a force.
Is there anything else we need to do? I'm having a great time.
All right, anything else? Matt and Myrna can avail you of stories, we can get Tammy going as well on vans.
I got one suggestion. How about one of the, either you guys all fingerprinted their work, or, you know, maybe the school board members on board buses.
Well, I was gonna say, if I can't ride
I
along,
would welcome.
I can at least like walk up the 3 steps when you pick up my kid and like, I'm happy to shake my fist at the children and say, if we can give them a stern talking to at our stops and pick up our children, if we can ride along, happily.
But is that a thing that people can volunteer to, this, like, does it cost
I'll
money
find
to
out.
background check
Yeah.
me?
I'll
We
find
have
out.
volunteers in the schools.
Yes.
Do we not?
I mean, volunteers ride on the
But we
school
don't-
bus when they
we
go on
don't have
field trips.
volunteers like disciplining students.
That's
right.
Or talking to them in that way, that could be tricky.
No, no.
No, I'll ride on your bus. Yeah.
I just think they're precious.
So we'll do tours of the schools, we'll do some bus ride along.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had no idea how involved that this was going to be.
Right, like opened.
Yeah, what else can we sign up for?
I would do a bus ride along.
Dave St. Peter, your friendship, he'll let you on the bus anytime, no problem.
Is there anything else,
Thanks,
anybody?
Thank you,
Clarify,
guys.
so
But this is.
the committee as it exists now will hypothetically continue to meet through the summer. No, we'll
Starting
meet
in
one more
July.
time in
Starting
June,
in
and then
July.
it'll just be that the new
The new
version of this
committee,
committee will,
yes.
okay.
Because,
July.
yeah, we're
Got it.
losing
Yeah,
a couple and
I was
we
just,
lost
that's
one
why I was just
last
like, I wanna
week, so, yes.
clarify what the plan is.
You mean how many years you
All
want
good.
to be?
One,
Well,
and just every year it renews.
I just didn't know if doing the summer meeting, I know.
Well, you can,
Well, you can sign up for it.
Oh, okay. Okay,
and
you
then the
can,
chair will
that's all.
designate. Okay.
Okay.
If too many people sign up to be on a committee, then Danny will.
Yeah.
If there is nothing else, it is 6:21, we are adjourned.